We all buy things we end up regretting. And sometimes it's not that big a deal. It's just kind of annoying. Like this tank top. Just kidding, I would actually never regret buying a cat/American flag tank top. Really, this thing is incredible. But that's not actually what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is serious buyer's remorse, like the kind that's not funny. A study found that 1 in 5 car buyers regret their decision within minutes, like the minute you drive off the lot. But once you drive that thing off the lot, there's no more oops or never mind. A car is typically the second biggest purchase most people make in their lifetime, behind buying a house. It's a big deal and a lot of money. So you want to make sure you know what you're getting into so you can make the best decision for your budget and your life. And here's the thing about buying a car. You don't have to know everything about the car industry to make a smart and informed decision. All you need is a little common sense. So you're ready to buy a car. How difficult can it really be? You look online and you fall in love with some fancy car and you head up to the dealership and the guy says, "Oh, I have a great deal just for you. This is a great offer." And then he speaks gibberish for a little bit and you're like, "Okay, great." You sign the dotted line and off you go. Nope. That is exactly how not to buy a car. So let's look at the right way to do it. So the first step is getting an estimate, a good idea of what you can actually afford to pay for a car. So to do that, you need to figure out these 2 things. First is the down payment. How much money can you pay up front in cash? Ideally, you want to put down 20%. Some offers may require less, but it's better to put more money down up front. If you're trading in your old car, that money can be used toward the down payment. Or you can sell the old car yourself, and you'll probably get more cash for it that way. Then use the money for the down payment. And the second thing is the monthly payment. If you plan to take out a loan for the car, which most people do because they don't have enough cash, what's the maximum amount you can afford to pay each month? So take a look at your budget. If you don't have a budget, check out our budgeting video that walks you through it and get an idea of really how much you can afford for that payment each month. And don't max out your budget. There are a lot more costs involved with a car, which we'll get into in a little bit. Step 2, financing. So once you have a rough idea of what you can afford, the next step is financing. Figuring out how you're going to get the money to buy the car. Most people don't have enough cash to cover the total cost. So you pay the down payment in cash and the rest is covered by a car loan. And you want to get your financing before you head to the dealership or even start looking at cars. So car prices have been going up, and so have loan terms, and here's why. If you buy a more expensive car, the monthly payment is higher. But if you extend the loan to give you more time to pay it off, the monthly payments go down. And there's been a recent trend with people buying way too much car they can afford. And the average payment now for a new car is about $500 a month. And a lot of people have 5 and even 8-year loans. And they do that just to be able to afford the monthly payment on the car. Don't do that. You'll end up owing more than the car is even worth. So stick to a 42-month loan or less if you can, or right around that. You really don't want to pay any more than 20% of your monthly take-home pay on a car loan. So here's the thing. If your monthly payments are too high for the car you want, then you're trying to buy too much car than you can afford. Think buyer's remorse. Don't do it. Now let's talk about where you get the money. First of all, when the guy at the dealership starts talking about financing, just say no. That's typically your worst option. It doesn't matter if you buy a car at a dealership, from a guy on Craigslist, or wherever. The first place to look for a car loan is a credit union. If you aren't a member of a credit union, you can find out if you're eligible to join one at cuna.org, and we have that at clark.com/commonsense. Step 3. Next, you have to figure out whether you want to buy a new car or a used one. A used car will cost you less, but a new car may be more reliable and cost you less in unexpected repairs. But it really depends on the type of car. So here are a few things to consider. First is the cost. It's easier with an example. So 2 cars, same make and model, one new and one used. How much would each car cost you over 3 years? Let's say you find a car that you love that costs $30,000 to buy brand new. Then you find the exact same car that's 3 years old and the price is only $15,000. That's a big difference. And here's why. Depreciation. If you buy the new car for $30,000, when you drive off and you see the guy at the dealership just waving away in your rearview mirror, your new car will now only be worth $24,000. just like that. Then after 3 years, the car will be worth around $15,000. And the exact number depends on the type of car. If you buy the used car, the one that's 3 years old, for only $15,000, after you own that one for 3 years, it will be worth around $10,000. So when it comes time to sell or trade in the car after 3 years, the new one would have cost you a total of $10,000, while the used one would have cost you only $5,000. New cars lose the most value in the first few years. Then over time, they lose less and less each year. So if you plan to buy a new car and drive it till the wheels fall off, you'll probably get your money's worth. If you're going to want to get another car in a few years, then a used car is a much better option because you don't take that big loss in the first few years, so you won't lose as much money. Step 4, insurance. Car insurance rates are determined by a lot of different factors. But when you're looking at a new car versus a used one big difference is the cost to replace the car, which is something car insurance companies definitely care about. A new car is more valuable than a used one, so it's going to be more expensive to insure, which means you'd pay more each month for the coverage. So when it comes time to actually buy the car insurance, you have to shop around. Start with the companies that get the highest ratings. We have a list at clark.com/commonsense. Then you want to get a price quote from each company, which will help you find the best price. And even if you see a great offer from a company that has bad ratings, don't take it. The key word here is bad. When you're shopping around, make sure each price quote is for the same amount of coverage, so it's apples to apples. One other thing, you don't want to file claims for small, minor damages because the insurance company will increase how much you pay each month. So with car insurance, a higher deductible isn't a bad thing. Your best bet is to choose a policy with a deductible around $1,000. That way you pay less each month, and then you're not tempted to file a claim for something small. So you only file claims for bigger damage that you can't afford to pay yourself. Step 5, maintenance and repairs. The last big factor to consider when you're thinking about buying a car is what the car will cost you over time, so the cost to maintain it. This is tricky since repairs can be unpredictable, so you have to do some research. You may get a great deal on a car, but then figure out that every little repair and maintenance costs you out the wazoo, and then your savings go out the window. So here are a few maintenance and repair costs to check before you decide on a car. Oil changes, brakes, fluid changes, tires, and other general repairs. And it's easy to figure these out. Just call or go to a dealership or mechanic who services the car you're thinking about buying. Tell them your situation, the car you're thinking about buying, and you want to know what costs you should expect over time, both big and small, and they should be able to give you a pretty good estimate. With a new car, big repairs may be covered by a warranty in the first few years, but after that, you want to make sure it isn't super expensive to maintain because those future costs could kill your budget. With a used car, you can still buy a warranty to cover big repairs. Just make sure you buy the car manufacturer's own warranty, not through a third party. So when you're thinking about buying a car, do a little research, pay attention, know what you're getting into. Because the second you sign that line, there's no going back. So just figure out it's right for you in your situation, your budget, and your life. For more on how to buy a car and everything you need to know about the whole process, go to clark.com/commonsense.